And here we go. Hi there. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody. May 5th, 2022. I apologize, first of all, for once again this live video being delayed a day, in that we not only did we have to miss May the 4th be with you, um, but that was inevitable because, among other things, yesterday turned out to be a pretty well, let's just say, busy day. My work actually scheduled a late night training session last night from 7 to 8, and it didn't get out till about 8:15 or so. So there was no way I would have been able to prepare on time. Had a little bit of personal stuff going on that I generally don't talk about online. So suffice to say, it was not a good day for doing the live, and I can only apologize for that. However, I think we have already done a little bit towards making up for it today, and that I was able to throw in a short live video during lunch in which we did part one of this, and that, of course, is preparing some carnitas for Cinco de Mayo. And hello to everybody. Thank you, everybody, kind enough to show up here tonight. Flash 1499. Hello, everyone, and hello to Rick Stumbow and Pip Gorn and Val's Black Cats Rule and Jimmy Langford and William Hurt and Granny Graham and CI Cast Iron Fanatic. Hello. It's always nice to see you folks here. It's really you folks here that help to make these live videos a lot of fun. And hello to Christine Borgatti. My voice is a little hoarse tonight, unfortunately. I've had this stupid cold now for going on, what is it, 2 weeks or so? My chest has been congested. I think I'm finally in the last stages of it, which means I sound worse than I feel. So we have so that's why, even though I sound like I'm kind of hoarse and clearing my throat and everything, I'm actually feeling pretty good, at least physically. So hello, Papa Dan, Jamie, and everybody. Enjoyed your video this afternoon. Seen replay. Might be called confit because France occupied Mexico in the 1860s. Yeah, I guess you could say that. And in fact, that's and that's a good way to bring up, I guess, the little bit about Cinco de Mayo. Here it is, Cinco de Mayo. I've got a little bit of a thing to say about that, but I guess before, rather than just stand here and talk, let's actually get some cast iron out, shall we? For starters, this is going to. I have pulled out a pan that I think folks have seen before. And this is a vintage Birmingham Stove and Range oval fish fryer. This is the earlier model from the Red Mountain series. You can tell from the angled handles here, and underneath. If I were to lift it up, let me see if I can do that without burning myself, because I've already been heating this thing up. And one of these things underneath, here it is, you can actually see the sportsman logo on the underside of the handle. So this was the first generation of the cast iron fish fryer that BSR made between the 1930s all the way up to the 1960s. And I really like using this thing because it gives a lot of surface space. It fits nicely over two burners. The shape means that as far as cooler spots go, there's only temperature difference in the center or so. So it's essentially like having two griddles or two skillets in one. So I really like the shape of this thing. And having said that, it is time, in fact, to pull out the other cast iron pan that we were working on this afternoon. So that means we get to pull out of the oven the pot that has been slow cooking for the last few hours. And let's see how it turns out. That would be the poiki. All right, here it is. Oh boy. And do this right. Let me move this mic over a bit. Careful. Okay, there we go. Got it. Oh, that was too close. All right. Nonetheless, we got it. I think I'll move it towards the back, in fact. Okay, that was a little closer than I would have liked. Actually, I think I'll move it up front so we can get a good view of it. There it is. All right, and there we go with our South African made, well, Asian made, and imported into South Africa, and then imported into the U.S. The poiki, the 8-quart cast iron pot. Everybody likes these things because they have the shape that resembles a vintage cauldron. And finally, after several hours of slow cooking in lard, I do believe our carnitas are ready. Yeah, I definitely almost spilled this thing. Boy, more than I expected. But nonetheless, we barely spilled a drop or so. So we are not doing so bad. I'll put this here because it's hot. Our carnitas has been, as I said, has just been gently simmering in all this for the last few hours, so it doesn't really have any crispness to it yet. But the important thing is that it certainly should be done. So let us pull out. How am I going to do this? Okay, I think I'll put it back this way, carefully. That is. Move this out a little bit. Ugh. Yeah, the liquid is lard, I have to remember, not water. So, and there we go. Okay, we got this here. Now, let's fish out some of this and see if we achieved what we were after. Come on. There we go. Oh, boy. Did I drop a piece already? All right. Nonetheless, we do a little bit here. Pull this in. A couple of things we can get rid of, like this bay leaf for one. And somewhere in here, yeah, that's right, here's a cinnamon stick. Pretty hot too. And again, this is all just slow cooked. So I guess I had better put this to the crucial test and make sure that this stuff is good enough to shred, which is easy enough. And I'd say we are not doing too badly here. Oh yeah, this thing is definitely ready to shred, fortunately. So remember, this was pork loin rather than pork shoulder. I think, just to be sure, let me quickly pull out the excuse me, probe thermometer. Just be absolutely sure that we got to a decent temperature, although I'm actually not too worried about that. If we stick this on the inside, oh yeah, this thing is shooting up rather nicely here, so we're off to a pretty good start. I was kind of hoping that this might have made about 200 or so. Let me try one other piece. And going over here, well, we are at least in the range where you can definitely say this is well done. So, I'm actually thinking I may not have set the oven temperature quite right. I mean, it's definitely done. There's no question about that. So, so that just means we are going to have to go on to our next step here. Yeah, actually, yeah, I was kind of hoping this would have made 200. Well, we will make do with what we have. What that just means is, as I said, is we are just going to have to cook this a second time, which is exactly our plan here. So not all is not lost. I mean, we could very well make this into sandwiches right now if we wanted to. But fortunately, we are going to continue from here. However, as I mentioned, and as somebody pointed out, France occupied Mexico during the 1960s. Yes, they did. And it was 1960s, 1860s. Yes, they did. And in fact, that is kind of what Cinco de Mayo celebrates, because Several years ago on the cast iron cooking group, we did, of course, it was Cinco de Mayo, and we were making dishes with beer and everything, all to have fun during that day, because really it's just meant as a day of fun. At least here in the U.S., of course, where of course commercialism has turned it into essentially a big beer fest today. Some idiot on the group decided to bring politics into this thing and started with, how dare you folks celebrate Mexico's Independence Day when all those immigrants and blah 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 blah. Well, he was silenced pretty quickly, and for good reason. Our group was not for political arguments, not to mention he was essentially a lying sack of trash, because Cinco de Mayo has nothing to do with Mexico's Independence Day, which, if I remember right, is like around September or so. It is the memorial or anniversary, or a day that commemorates a huge victory that Mexico won against the French army, in fact, in Mexico. They know they were not in war with the U.S. This was during the Civil War. They were not at war with Texas. This had nothing whatsoever to do with the U.S. So there is nothing anti-American about celebrating Cinco de Mayo. And besides, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of a tradition as well, because, I mean, hey, if we're going to be upset about Cinco de Mayo, I suppose we should be upset about St. Patrick's Day, too, which essentially has become something of a big Irish pride festival. So that's all the politics I'm going to put into this. Don't worry. The short answer is that today is a fun day. We are here to have some fun. And best of all, at least we have some well cooked pork that is still pulling apart nicely. So that means we get to move on to part 2. So this is what it looks like when we have pork loin shredded instead of the usual pork shoulder. And we did actually flavor this thing as it cooked too. So if I were to try just a little piece of this and see what it tastes like. Mmm. Mmm. There's definitely a sweet flavor to it. That's because we put stuff like lime juice and a little bit of beer into this as well. Nonetheless, that's really about all the prep work we need now, fortunately. So that means now we can get on to the good stuff. Let me move this aside so I don't accidentally do anything with that. And let's see what we have here, by the way. Safe travels to you, Papa Dan. Papa Dan, oh, how bad was the weather on your side of the creek? Oh, I see. There were thunderstorms going through North Louisiana. Well, it could be worse. That's the best I can say. So, Cynthia Wesley, hello. Having cell phone trouble, storming again in North Louisiana. Do your best. Yes, be careful. That's as always. So, and we have, Granny Graham, Papa Dan, that's good to hear. Best of luck riding out the thunderstorm. We had tornado warnings here on Tuesday in Ohio. Made pork yesterday, pulled pork Friday. That tomorrow's going to be a good day for it. So, is the weather okay in your part of the world? Well, here in New England, anyway, at least I could say, oh, yeah, I was out laking flowers in order for Mother's Day. Yes, Mother's Day is this weekend. No, believe me, I'm sure we haven't forgotten that. Here in New England, finally, after all this time, I think we finally have had a decent spring day for the first time in, well, at least a month or so. We finally got some sun, and it finally is approaching 70 degrees here in New England. So, and I, for one, have enjoyed that. And I'm quite happy that we're finally getting into some weather here that actually feels more like spring. And having said that, let's move on now. And let's see what it's like when we do a little bit of cooking in a BSR. There we go. In the BSR fish fryer. And continue from there. Now, okay. Slow cooking this pork was probably the hard part. Now we get, of course, to the easy part, and that is just simply, yeah, browning us up some, some carnitas, and this is the part that everybody likes, of course. Another good thing that comes to mind. Where did I put that? Is that and from that pot, in fact, we've got all that lard, the lard that we cooked all this in. So, I mean, rather than add some more grease to this pan, why not actually reuse a little bit of that lard already melted and see how it turns out. So let's scoop out a little bit of that, shall we? And maybe one or two pieces of pork are still there in the pot, in fact. So we're off to a decent start. Nonetheless, that was the hard part. Now, I guess, comes the easy part. Let's get some color on this, shall we? A little bit here, a little bit there. Better turn on the fan while we're at it. So, and now it's the part where, if at first you don't succeed, fry again. And that's exactly what I'm going to be doing here. The lesson I've learned recently is that I don't want to move my stuff around too much if I want to get some good browning on it. In fact, I think I may need to put yet a little bit more grease on it. Put a little bit on here. There you go. And that means just simply let it sit and crisp before stirring it around too much. So that's a lesson that I have been recently trying to take to heart. Let's move down a little bit and get closer view with any luck. There we go. That's not too bad. Carnitas and lard sounds good. Yes, I know people are going to say this is a heart attack in a pan, and I'm not going to deny that. On the other hand, this is not the type of thing we eat every single day. So doing this is something of a treat once in a while. There's really nothing wrong with that. And Granny, glad that nobody was seriously hurt around you. Oh dear, yes. Yeah, these thunderstorms. No official touchdown next town over. Oh, I see. Had some roofs come off. Well, I'm glad it wasn't yours, at least. Here in North Carolina, storm is just starting. Is to go through Friday. Started my sourdough bread to make for tomorrow. Well, why not? Gives us something to do while waiting out the storm. Now, I do believe some of this is already starting to brown up a little bit. Hey, check this out. I'd say we're not doing too badly here. So all I have to do is just crisp up a little bit of this. And just remain patient. Still, this is looking good already. Oh, shut up. In fact, I'm wondering still, excuse me for a moment, folks. I wonder if I can't actually try to pull this down even more. Yeah, closer view, if that's at all possible. Come on. There we go. That's what I wanted. There we go. Now that's the type of view I was looking for. As always, I apologize for the little little roller coaster ride, but we're definitely getting the type of view I had wanted. More of a close-up here as our little pork pieces take on a little bit of color. And we are off to a good start, at least. I'll say that much. You know, believe it or not, I think we may actually still need to do a little bit more grease over here. There we go. That's doing a little better. Ooh, gotta be careful it doesn't stick too much. Now we're starting to get somewhere. Ah. Who needs to be from Mexico to celebrate Cinco de Mayo? Well, yes, indeed. Again, just like with St. Patrick's Day, everybody is Irish for a day, and right now, I guess you could say everybody celebrating Cinco de Mayo is Mexican for a day. Because again, this is to commemorate a military victory from I believe it was 1862. So congratulations. Even though, as I said, it seems to have become something of a big beer fest here in the USA. And that's the other thing I need to do. It is funny, if funny is the right word for it, that the marketing for Cinco de Mayo here is all about beer. Of course, nobody seems to object to it because, you know, as they might say, what's wrong with beer? And actually, yeah, for the last few years, at least up until tonight, I have done my Cinco de Mayo with a little bit of baking, in fact. I've been doing a beer cake for the last few years, but I felt like doing carnitas this time. So, yeah, beer cake, that's pretty easy. Essentially, put together a chocolate cake batter, and at the part where it usually says to call for a cup of liquid, whether it might be buttermilk or the like, instead, you just put in 10 ounces of beer, and it actually turns out pretty good. So here's a start, at least. Now, let me even this out a little bit. My stupid stove is not even. Really never should have taken the time to do something about that. But here comes batch number 2. There we go. Shred this a little bit. Yeah, again, I made this with pork loin, and pork loin is a leaner meat. So I guess that's why it's coming out with a different consistency. Still, I'm not really complaining about the results. Even though, again, the initial temperature was lower than I would have liked, we are making up for it right now. The end result of this, of course, will be time for tortillas. Where'd you get your 10-inch French knife that you used this afternoon? Yeah, it handled the pork loin without any trouble. Yeah, I'm proud of that. And in fact, this year is going to be like the 10th anniversary of that knife. For my birthday in 2012, in fact, that is a French-made sabatier from Thar. How do you pronounce that? Thiers is a sard in France. It's French-made. It's carbon steel. I have to keep it oiled, or else it will rust. Sabatier is one of the most famous brands of French knives, and in fact, there are 2 separate companies that, for decades, if not more than a century, have each laid claim to the Sabatier name. I happened to come across a kitchen supply store, a good one in Cambridge, Massachusetts. A pretty famous one too. They call themselves China Fair, but they have nothing to do with China or Chinatown. And they actually had a shipment of those Sabatier chef knives and other Sabatier knives at surprisingly affordable prices. So that was when I was just discovering what watch myself here. Was just discovering what carbon steel knives are like, and so yeah, definitely that was appealing to the part of me that's interested in taking care of cast iron. The extra steps and the oiling and everything to keep them good. At that time, I was saving up my pennies, in fact, to get a global chef knife, but instead I decided to get the Sabatier chef knife instead, which only cost me about half of what I would have paid for the global knife. And I've spent the last 10 years using that knife on an almost daily basis. And boy, have I abused it. I have put it through thick and thin. I've made a number of terrible attempts to sharpen it. I took it to a sharpener a couple of times, one who did a good job, one who did a not so good job, to the point where it still has a nice sharp edge to it. The edge is not straight, unfortunately. There is a tiny gap under the edge that I have had to compensate for the last few years. What I really should do this year is take it again to a professional sharpener and have the knife straightened as well as, here we go, as well as sharpened. But still, on the whole, it has done a great job too. They say knives have personalities, and yeah, the Sabatier definitely has the personality of a French chef, because I have a couple of other chef knives in my collection. I know I brought them out time and time again. Things like the K-bar chef knife, for instance, which is a lot more flashy and a lot more of a show off than the Sabatier. Although, again, at least within the last few years, I think the Sabatier has started showing off a little bit more as well. It's also somewhat thicker than some other good chef's knives, but it's one that I am very, very happy with. And I felt it was indeed a good deal. So now, there we go. All I had to do was be patient. And voila, we have carnitas. So, having done that, let me get these things out of the pan. And then, even though there's a lot more to make yet, well, actually, I'm going to have to let this stuff cool off, too. There we go. So, we've got a bowl that I don't think anybody will complain about. And there we go. Literally made from scratch. Well, I mean, granted, I didn't grow the pork myself, but I did cut the pork myself and slow cooked it. There is our first result of some carnitas, which means what we have to do next while this is cooling off is prepare a couple of things for it. So, time now, very quickly, let's do ourselves a tortilla, shall we? All right, but anyway, that was the Sabatier chef knife. Oh yeah, watching Johnny Depp trial. Shit, I have never really been much of a fan of celebrity stuff. Wow, holy cow! What's shit? Sheesh. I think it's because of the grease. That must be it. You saw the way this thing just puffed up like a balloon just now. But anyway, I have never been a fan of celebrity stuff. whether it's O.J. Simpson or the Kardashians or Kardashians or whoever they are, or Johnny Depp. I mean, yeah, it's a sad thing that happened. Unfortunately, a celebrity is claiming that her very famous husband beat her up, and I'm very, very sorry to hear that. Which happens, quite frankly, every day. That's about all I have to say, I think, about the Johnny Depp trial. I have very little to comment on it. Okay, well, yeah, okay. So we got ourselves a really greasy tortilla. Maybe I might have to break out another pan to do more tortillas like this. Unfortunately. Well, that was a lesson learned. All right. Well, in that case, I think I will change things around a little bit. Oh, damn, that's hot. That's a metal bowl. Okay. Lesson learned. Use this to pick up a metal bowl. Okay. Where was I? Let's move this to the side. There we go. What I think I will do at this point, raise this up a little bit. And let me dig this out. I've got down here something. Oh, yeah. For the tortillas, how about this? Let's actually bring out something made especially for tortillas. Namely, a made in Mexico comal. And heat that up over here. So let me quickly turn on the heat there. That would be, okay, that would be that one. Come on. Okay, there we go. Get that going. All right. As for this here, well, let's do a little bit more carnitas then. And keep things busy. So I'm going to have to move this bowl of meat completely somewhere else. We will stick it right here for the time being. Once again, thanks to everybody for your patience with this. I'm not sure if this is actually too hot or not. Boy, I hope I don't get a blister on my finger after that one. Anyway. A little bit here and a little bit there. There we go. There we go. I'm sorry? Did I do what? No. Oh, okay. Well, that was nice. That was nice of them. I don't know what it is. Neither do I. Well, we'll find out soon enough. Yeah. This is definitely browning pretty quickly at this point. All right. In fact, I might even, well, I don't know if I need to turn the temperature down because it's definitely browning well. Just means it's cooking faster, that's all. I'll just keep an eye on it. That's the best I can do. Besides, it's all thoroughly cooked on the inside anyway, so it's not like it's going to be undercooked. All right. Is that us? Oh, here we go again. Hold on. I should have expected this. Be right back. we go. Of course, that happens every time. Why would I think it wouldn't? Okay. Meanwhile, let's get back to business here. Yes. Hi, Jamie. Rick Stumbow says hi. Sorry to hear, Mark. My dad had dementia. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry to hear about that as well. So, yeah. Any update on the new apartment? Well, I'm going to have to be postponing that announcement for a little bit, but I will get it into detail a little later. Okay, almost cut potato thin and make potato chips using my cast iron. Well, that's not a bad idea either. So, Mike DeMars, I inherited my brother's grandfather's carbon steel knives, only to discover my father decided to sharpen them on a bench grinder. Ouch. Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. Ouch. Ugh. Yeah, that's why I'm even though I've made a number of attempts to try to sharpen my knives, I'm finally at the point where I'm just going to have to take mine to a professional sharpener and have them done right. All right, let me take a. Okay, this is not taking long at all. I like that. A little bit more here. All right. Anyway, this is obviously one reason why Carnitas is so popular. It's really that easy to make. So, and I'll be looking forward to that. Now, I've got one more batch to throw in. On request, trying not to make this one quite as crispy. Pink Pony, love my Wusthof knives. Yes, indeed. Yeah, Wusthof is good, actually. I have I inherited a Wusthof knife as well from my mom, and I think, if I remember right, I'm passing that one on to Jamie. So, and yeah, carbon steel knives. I normally don't watch celeb stuff, but this trial caught my eye. Poor Johnny. Listening to the recordings of them arguing is eye-opening, to say the least. Now, there is the chaos that we all look forward to happen. Yes, you must take that smoke detector with you. No, the smoke detector is staying here. I can promise you that. So, yes, it is. Hello, Kimberly Miller. The fan. Yes, it is. So, yeah. Well, no, you're not late. Don't worry at all about that. And anyway, this is not too difficult either. Oops. I think that may be a piece of something. Oh yeah, I think this may be a splinter of cinnamon. So we'll get rid of that. So anyway, as requested, we'll do a separate dish for this, in fact. But oh yes, Cinco de Mayo. As I mentioned, this year I'm making carnitas. Previously, I had actually mixed beer in with cake batter and made a beer cake. I'm pretty sure I've done at least one video of that, or if I haven't, then I'm definitely going to have to. Wish I'd thought of that, in fact, before now. Well, there's always this coming weekend. And a little bit more of this. Yeah, this tortilla here definitely puffed up like a balloon. I'm definitely going to have to try doing a tortilla now on that Kamal. See how well that turns out, which is easy enough. Plop. Okay, yeah. As far as I can tell, I've got the heat turned on. So, is Henkel's contagious? Oh, definitely. So, Henkel's, in fact, was the first high quality knife I bought, and not for myself. In my earliest days, when I had a girlfriend in that time who was inspiring me to learn how to cook, yeah, one of the first things I did for her, she had mentioned she was interested in a Henkel's knife, and so I went and spent a lot of money getting a Henkel's 8-inch chef knife for her because I didn't know any better. On the other hand, I think she still liked it, but I'm pretty sure she probably would have preferred the 10-inch at least. So, nonetheless, I slowly started building a Henkel's collection for her because, I mean, no way could I afford a full Henkel's knife block. Um, but I've started building it again and again and again. And actually, that is, I think, one thing I would also like to say, at least based on my experience as an amateur cook, in that I do not recommend going out and getting a knife block full of knives. Because you know what will happen? You will end up using 2, maybe 3 at the most of those knives on a regular basis. And the rest of them will sit in that knife block for years gathering dust. Rather, and this again is just my opinion, what you want to do is build your own knife collection based on the knives that you use on a regular basis. Which is why, even though I have a boning knife, I don't use it very often. My chef's knives, I get a lot of use out of. I know Jamie loves my paring knife. I barely use it at all, but again, that's only me. And on the other hand, if you're the type of person who regularly bones meat, you, of course, will have a lot more use for a boning knife than I do. Likewise, if you do a lot of vegetable cutting, then you will need a type of knife that will be good on vegetables. So really, I'd say it would be better to build a knife collection based on what you use and what you like. I hope I heated this thing up enough. Oh yeah, starting to get somewhere at least. There we go. Off to a decent start here. Chef Club and mine knives are nice and affordable. I'm still interested in your the Satanist ex-girlfriend's story time. Yeah, I will tell that, but again, now is not the time to talk about that. That is probably better done at a more appropriate time. So Cinco de Mayo, I suppose, is not the time to talk about my love life. Sorry, I'm not that type of a person to blab about that. Cynthia Wesley thundering real good, but not as hard to rain yet. Well, it probably means it's still on its way to you. So do just be careful there. I knew it. He's a Satanist, probably has a tattoo. No, I am not a Satanist. I did date a Satanist. I do not deny that. I am not a Satanist. And yes, as a matter of fact, I do have a tattoo from the Lord of the Rings. I have a tattoo of the One Ring inscription from Tolkien on my left arm. There we go. Now we're starting to get a little somewhere. I may have to turn this temperature up even a little bit more. There we go. So, and I only have one tattoo, I'm afraid. So, is that a West Coast thing? People always tell me to try to sell me Cutco knives. Well, there are a couple of companies that are MLMs, multi-level marketing, and that they make their money on commissions. Cutco is one of them. And yet, I have never used a Cutco knife myself, yet I have heard that despite the fact they're an MLM, Cutco knives are apparently pretty good. Likewise, there is the other famous MLM in the cooking utensil world these days, and that would be Pampered Chef. We've seen more than enough of Pampered Chef on the Cast Iron Cooking Group because a couple of years ago, Pampered Chef introduced their own series of cast iron pans. And almost immediately, some people showed up on the Cast Iron Cooking Group trying to sell or interest people in Pampered Chef cast iron pans. The Cast Iron Cooking Group on Facebook has a no selling rule, and we actually had to boot a couple of people who were actually stealth selling because of that. Okay, though I think I will say something. I have not yet used a Pampered Chef cast iron pan. But here's what I know, and I'm sure you've seen them by now. They are square pans with handles similar to this, in fact. But the Pampered Chef cast iron pans, actually, I should probably put this back on. There we go, yeah. The Pampered Chef cast iron pans are, in fact, made by Lodge. I looked it up, did a little bit of research, and yes, they are, in fact, made in the USA by Lodge. However, that means, of course, that they have the same quality as a Lodge cast iron pan. And there's really nothing wrong with that. I mean, Lodge is excellent quality. We all know that. I'm very glad, proud, and happy to use my Lodge pans. What I'm not happy with is the fact that the Pampered Chef 10-inch skillet sells for $50 as opposed to $15 for a Lodge 10-inch skillet at Walmart. And you can go on from there for about $75 or so. You can get a Pampered Chef 12-inch pan. And if you want to go about $200, you can get a Pampered Chef enameled cast iron pan, or I think it might be a Dutch oven. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody at all. Let me move this over a little bit. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody at all there. So for those, yeah, I mean, at those prices, I mean, again, that's really where the money comes from in Pampered Chef. And that's why I'm really not so much of a fan of Pampered Chef for that reason. I mean, if you end up with a Pampered Chef cast iron pan, like I said, it's a Lodge. You will enjoy it. I'm no denying that. I'm just not happy with their sales tactics. And that is my little story, I think, about Pampered Chef. Okay, one other thing I gotta break out here: tomatoes and lettuce. Oh, I forgot something. All right. Sorry for the delay right now. I'm just quickly breaking out tomatoes and lettuce. So, come on. Try and do this as fast as I can. And then we will get back to our carnitas. I've no doubt I'm doing a terrible job in preparing this. All right, a little bit here. A little bit there. Maybe a dab of sour cream on top of everything else. And here we are. Anyway, thank you for your patience, folks. But in the midst of all this, hopefully we've got ourselves, come on, there we go, a rather poorly prepared tortilla. And that will be for Jamie. Okay, let me see if I can fold this over successfully at this point. I think I better put it on the plate and try folding it. Carefully put it on the plate, that is. Let's do this right. Come on, there we go. Haha, made it. I hope I can fold this over at this point. It's kind of crispy. I may actually have to give it to her as like this and let her do it. Excuse me 1 second. Jamie? Okay. Okay, that's fine. How about if you just put it in there and do what you want with it? Okay. All right.
You tell me what happened?
No, I didn't yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a boo-boo.
Oh, you had a boo-boo?
Yeah.
Well,
I was cleaning.
Go ahead. Whatever you want to say.
I was cleaning in the bedroom, and I had pulled stuff out from under the bed. And what happened is I forgot that it was there, and I went out to go to the bathroom. And as I came back across the hall to go back in the room, I tripped over my boots, and I tried to catch myself. In doing so, I didn't catch myself, and I smacked my face off the floor. And I possibly broke my cheekbone.
I hope it's not that bad.
No, I hope not so, but it's big. It's getting worse.
Oh. Well, I did
And
offer.
purple. And purple.
I did offer to get you to the emergency room this morning.
I put some of that liquid.
Sorry?
I put some of that liquid over the pork.
What?
I put some of that liquid over the pork.
Over a fork?
Over the pork. It's dry.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we'll try it that way.
That needs some liquid.
Yes, it does. There's no question about that. The liquid is large.
Well, it needs it.
What?
I said it needs it.
There we go. So far, so good. Anyway.
Alright. We're gonna leave this here. Make stuff good.
All right. Now back to business here. Anyway, sorry to hear about that, Jamie. Okay. Now, wish you the best, Jamie, says Rick Stumbow. Hope you're okay. Be careful. Hey, Terry Sinchab, we took a vote while you were missing. We voted to meet at your house next week. Where are you planning on cooking for us? Yeah. Well, actually, here's something I should mention, folks, as well. Hello, Arctic Gator. My favorite sauce for that kind of thing is, I can't pronounce this. Chula's green hot sauce. You know, Cholula? Okay. You know, how does everybody feel about those sour cream that pipes out like frosting as opposed to scooping out of a tub, squeezy bag thingy? That sounds pretty good. What? Oh, Jamie says that's not right. Those scoops are nice, but I'm not sure I eat enough ice cream to shell out $110 for one. Oh boy. Okay. Anyway. Yeah. Oh yeah. Actually, yeah.
Here, watch the pork. Watch the pork.
Here's the sour cream.
You probably want to soak it in it for a few minutes. I don't know.
It's been soaking all afternoon.
I don't really know. Pull the cat out of it.
There we go. And you wanted the salsa as well.
Yeah, I don't know if it was overdone. It's just all fat out of it.
Okay. Yeah. This is not taking long at all. I actually kind of like that. What do you need? Okay, what would you like? Yeah.
I don't know. I think you're coming better eating cereal and shit.
Okay. All right. Anyway, as I mentioned, though, there is something actually to consider, at least maybe for folks who may be up in near the New England area. Next week, once again, yes?
I'll take one of the soft. I can't eat that yet.
Okay.
I didn't realize the tortilla's hard. I can't. I just made
Okay. We'll do another one then.
Yeah, I just need to be soft tortillas.
Okay.
Let me stop talking.
Okay, that's fine. Here's a soft one. Sorry for the interruption. All right. Anyway, next week, for anybody who might be near the New England area, 3 times a year, and I've talked about it quite a few times.
The dang tortilla.
The Brimfield Antique Show is back. And that is next week. Beginning next Tuesday and running all along through next Sunday. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. So, yes, you can celebrate Mother's Day first and then come on down for the Brimfield Antique Show. So that is definitely something I look forward to on a regular basis. I like going there, if nothing else, just to look and see what I might be able to find. I've done a couple of videos about some of the finds I've made at Brimfield. A fair number of the best items in my kitchen I've managed to find at Brimfield. I'm sorry? Oh, the carnitas? Oh, good. You like them then. Thank you very much.
I need a little salt though.
Okay, well, feel free.
Yep.
So, yeah, actually, anybody who has access to the New England area next week, it's certainly worth considering. Maybe even worth taking time out to go to Brimfield, because if you're into cast iron hunting, it's certainly worth it for that reason.
Oh, if anybody does go out, let us know when you're going.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's true. Might even want to try to arrange an actual some kind of a meetup. Yeah, for whatever that's worth. I know a few years ago I tried doing a meetup and nobody showed up, but that wasn't a real big deal because I mean, hey, it was Brimfield and everybody was just out to have fun.
Yeah, it's a little different now too. It's live, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There's more of a personal connection now.
And it's I'm seeing as well. We see not so great. Welcome. Oh, I don't know about not so great, but I'm new to the channel from YouTube recommendations. Well, I can only hope you like it. I mean, we are pretty much chilling tonight. As you can see, we have been slow. I'm sorry. Okay. We have been busy slow cooking pork all afternoon, and now we are frying it up in traditional Mexicali style to have ourselves some carnitas. And at least according to Jamie here, apparently the pork has turned out well. Got it. I'm also doing my best to take this lesson to heart, namely, don't constantly poke and prod at the meat. So as a result, we are actually getting some nice crispy bits on it. And I'm definitely, again, going to recommend, even though it does take some effort as well as a lot of lard, that at least once, folks, give it a try. Try the traditional method of making carnitas and see what you like, see what it's like, which means that you dump a whole bunch of lard into a cast iron pot, then add your meat, and then you add a few other flavorings. I used beer as well in this, and slow cook it for several hours and see how it turns out. Because again, this is what the traditional carnitas are like, or is like.
I think I remember which method was good. So this is obviously good here, but last year I remember.
Think so?
Where's my phone? I didn't remember what.
Yeah. And we actually have quite a bit of this too. We're just going to have to foist all this off on our friends and family. Gosh, what a shame. I'll say again, the cast iron pan here again is a BSR fish fryer, Birmingham stove and range. You can, of course, do this in a regular cast iron griddle. Ouch, that was hot. Even a Lodge cast iron griddle or cast iron skillet. When I'm saying even Lodge, as I said, I love cooking in Lodge cast iron, and I am not making that up. Heck, I mean, I was proud to see last week that Lodge had introduced their new Made in America skillet. You know, the one with the American flag on it. Obviously, it's an appeal to patriotism, but so what? There we go. Now we're getting down to the last of it. Spread this out a little bit. And let it crisp. That's the key point, as I've learned. Let it crisp. If you like ketchup, use it. Salt and pepper for me. Yes. Yeah, that's the other thing about cooking as well. Namely, cook to your taste. You know, there are some people who say that if you don't use the right ingredients in some way or another, then you're doing it wrong. And what I mean is that not the wrong ingredients that end up making a completely different dish, but the wrong ingredients that don't appeal. No, the wrong ingredients because they don't appeal to you. Like, Last weekend, I made a very simple bacon sandwich. I did a very short video on that. The British bacon butty, bacon sandwich, which is really no more than bacon served on buttered or toasted bread. And I put A1 steak sauce on it. And sure enough, I got a couple of comments that it's the wrong kind of sauce because, I should use the British steak sauce, which is HP steak sauce. And this is meant to be my reply to that is this is meant to be cheap. So really use your favorite sauce on there. The whole point is just that, the bacon. You are not going to ruin that particular sandwich by using a different kind of sauce. You could put barbecue sauce on it if you want. Because really what matters is how it tastes to you. I mean, the only time little things like that matter is if you're cooking for a competition where they actually judge things like that. Did you use the wrong ingredients? Is the presentation wrong? If you're cooking for friends or family, then above all else, what really is most important is how it tastes. And I guess that demonstrates that I'm an amateur cook and always will be. Yeah, I usually use Canadian steak seasoning and some butter. While we celebrate Mexican fortitude to thwart foreign aggression, let's remember our brothers in Ukraine. Pray for peace and have faith. Yeah, I can certainly agree with that as well. Oh, as somebody pointed out, can we please stop having major historic events happening every couple of days? I'm getting darn tired of it. No, somebody's commenting, can we please stop having major historic events happening every couple of days? What are you looking for? Okay. Yeah, here it is. Okay. All right, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, there was that other unfortunate news happening event that happened earlier this week, and we've got protests erupting all across the country for it. Now, politics, I know, politics on my channel are something that a lot of people don't like. So, yeah, kind of taboo. So, I'm not going to say too much about it. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, please help yourself.
Burrito bowl.
Yeah, here are the tomatoes. But I will only state once, just for the record. I am strongly pro-choice, and I will be taking part in the protests. But I am not going to dedicate my channel to it. So, and that's about all I'm going to say about that. Because there are many other places where we can talk about it. Yeah, exactly. Are we supposed to be moving forward? So yeah, and I have talked about it in other places as well. But anyway.
That's not that.
Yeah, Fluffy Otter 1. I would like to attend Brimfield, but the COVID thing is on the rise. Yes, you have a very good point, actually. I think Brimfield and all activities should be canceled for the health of the people. You do have a very good point there. I cannot deny that. Yeah, they did shut down Brimfield for all of 2020 and even the spring one from last year. So.
No, people say they don't know people with COVID.
Yeah.
My friend here, Gabby, had COVID twice.
Mm-hmm.
Gabby got COVID twice, 2 times.
Mike, well, at least he survived.
Right there, him, Gabby.
Yes,
Gabby
I know.
got it twice.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But
when people say they don't know anybody who's had gotten it,
oh, you're not done yet? Okay. Well, I gotta.
Yeah, not done.
Okay. Yeah, you have a good point in regards to the COVID thing. I mean, yeah. And again, that's the thing is, I'm not going to dictate that particular subject either, especially because it should not have been political in the first place, but it has been political. So yeah, so to each their own. Yeah, well, that's still for us to see how that all turns out. Yes. Yeah, we are going to have to start living with it. Yes. All right. Finally, the last part is I think I have maybe a couple more pieces. I'm fishing right out of the pot with all the lard still on it.
There we go. Hell yeah! Look at that, guys. Show that.
Nice. There we go. Burrito bowl. Why not? If KFC can do its famous bowls, we can do ours. There we go. Well, these pieces are definitely not dried out. And that should be the last of it. But anyway, that's what we have here, folks. As we've said, carnitas, Mexican carnitas, which is essentially fried pulled pork. Here is more like fried slow cooked pork, not pulled. And a lot of people do their carnitas like this too, because hey, look at how this is actually crisping up nicely. But yeah, you have a point as well. Brimfield is actually trying to do an online thing as well. If you check the Brimfield site, you can see that they will be having some live streaming and probably some auctions as well. Yeah, COVID is back on the rise, and it is certainly worth considering, no question about that, especially if you have kids. When I went to Brimfield last fall, and I did film a video of that, which I'm very happy about, I was one of the few people who was still wearing a mask. Most of the people there were not. I guess all I can say about that is be careful. Otherwise, Cynthia Wesley is still storming here, just sitting right over my house. We live in the I-20 corridor, so we seem to attract bad weather. We can't watch TV because satellite is still out. Well, I hope this helps at least. Hello, everyone. Yum carnitas, my specialty. Hey, Jose Latias. I'm betting you could probably do carnitas much better than I can. However, I do like how this has been turning out tonight, largely because it's so easy. As we mentioned, we did it the traditional way. You know, we slow cooked it in lard, did confit, in other words, confit. And now is step 2, where we brown it up. And here is the result. And yeah, I have to say, I like this as well. Which I suppose is not a bad way to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. At least I hope not. As I mentioned, I did in fact throw some beer into the pot of lard, and I think it certainly helped to flavor these. So, quite frankly, I am not complaining how these turned out. And if this kind of encourages anyone, I will not dare say inspired, I'm sorry. But no, if this encourages anyone to go and try this out for themselves, well, I will be very flattered. That is really what I find, honors, or I find the most flattering is when people actually decide to go out and try my recipes, however terrible they may be, and especially if sometimes when they find out they like them. That is really something that I have very much enjoyed, and that's what keeps me going on this. What also keeps me going on this is all of you folks, so I can really only thank you so much for that. Are you going to make a video on Brimfield? I'm not sure if I have the capability to do so. Number one, my phone, my iPhone, the battery is dying, unfortunately. I cannot seem to keep it going for more than maybe about 30 minutes at a time between charges. And that is not enough to be able to wander around Brimfield, unfortunately. Uh, I don't have a separate video camera, regrettably. I've relied on my phone for that. So I'm not sure if I have the capability to do so. One other thing I've been considering is trying to find a way to do a live YouTube live at Brimfield, but I'm not sure how that would work out either because I don't know what the reception would be. But I will spend the next week or so considering and seeing how I might be able to prepare for this. Tried your turkey in the brine. Well, thank you very much, Kimberly. And well, I'm glad you liked it too. Of course, turkey is so easy to do. I mean, it's almost impossible to screw up a turkey, but nonetheless, though, at least I'm hoping I was able to give a couple of tips for it. So thank you so much for that. I will be going to my brother's house and making some on Saturday. Oh, that's it. Yeah. Post some pictures of it. I guess that's the best I can say there. So, Arctic Gator, my dad just got over major cancer surgery and all that chemo and radiation, so I'm still using my mask, not taking chances. And I don't blame you one bit about that, unfortunately. Yeah, and it's really to protect him more than anyone, more than yourself. And that's really the whole point of the masks. So, and again, I'm not going to get into that because it's been argued over far, far too many times. And what takes place on a cooking channel like this will really not have any kind of a long-term effect. So can we go on vacation with you to Brimfield? Well, as I said, I'm going to see what I can do about that. Between the fact that, well, on one hand, if or when I go to Brimfield, I will definitely have my mask and do my best to prepare for it. I am vaccinated and boosted, so I guess I might even consider getting another booster just before I go. And I can only hope from there. Because, as I said, some of my best finds have come from Brimfield, and that is why I've been doing my best to try to drag my friends and family out to Brimfield. For the past 10 years, I have been beating it over everybody's head, my relatives, my friends, my internet friends, my family. Basically, come out with me to Brimfield, and so far, a total of 2 people have done so. 2 of my friends have come out to Brimfield with me. Both of them enjoyed the heck out of it, and they really, really enjoyed it, which is why I am still doing my best to drag as many people as I can to Brimfield. I always like, I always hit the like prior to joining the chat. Well, thank you so much. When is it exactly? Look it up online. This is the Brimfield Antique Show. This is one of the largest and major outdoor antique fairs in the country, arguably in the world. And they do have several websites dedicated to it. In fact, it takes place 3 times per year in May, July, and September. And this year, next Tuesday, what is next Tuesday? Today is the 5th. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it starts on Tuesday, May 10th, and runs through Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, May 15th. Okay, and that is going to be the Brimfield Antique Show. As always, the heaviest traffic day of the show will be on Saturday. You can guarantee that because that's what it always turns out to be. Nonetheless, in Michigan, and COVID is just kicking our butt over here. Some of the highest numbers anywhere. We were doing pretty good at first. Now, be careful, I guess, is all I could say there. So, normally I've been bringing this out to an hour and a half, but I'm starting to think that I think we may very well have reached the end of it. Maybe because I did a half-hour one earlier today as well. So. And besides, we have certainly accomplished what we wanted to do. Namely, we definitely have carnitas and plenty of it too. So we certainly have to get ready to chow down, and I'm certainly not arguing, not disagreeing with that. But yeah, carnitas again is really just simply fried pulled pork. And even if you want to do it the easy way, namely just make a regular pulled pork or even buy pulled pork. But why buy pulled pork when you can make it? And I'm not being sarcastic about that. I mean, quite literally, for the cost of what you could get a small container of pulled pork, you can get yourself a nice big fat pork shoulder. Then you dump your pork shoulder in your cast iron pot. Do this maybe the night before, for instance, like say before you go to bed at night. Dump whatever you want for seasonings over that pork shoulder. It can be anything. You can dump a bottle of barbecue sauce. You can just coat it with salt, pepper, garlic powder, and that's it. You could use your favorite rub. If you've got a good old Cajun or barbecue rub, use it. If you've got a chicken rub, use it. Whatever you want, however you want it. If you want to dump in a bottle of beer, if you want to dump in a bottle of cola, 7-Up, Sprite, Coke, whatever you want, because you practically have it. This is practically a no fail dish. If you've never made pulled pork before, it is that easy. Get yourself a big heavy cast iron pot. If you don't even have a cast iron pot, use a roasting pan. If you don't have a lid on your cast iron pot, cover it with foil. The point is, you dump it in the pot. You put whatever seasonings you want. You put it in the oven, slow cook it. You turn your oven up to 250 degrees. That's all, 250 Fahrenheit. Then you set it and forget it. Go to bed. The next day when you wake up, you will have a pot full of wonderful pulled pork. Then you take 2 forks and you shred it. So, yes, you can buy pulled pork, but why should you? I mean, it's so easy. It's one of the easiest, wonderful filling dishes that anybody can make. I mean, yeah, I know we can say that about anything. It's easy to make burgers, and yet people don't make burgers that much. It's easy to make homemade mac and cheese, and yet people don't make homemade mac and cheese as much. Really, I would say there are some dishes that you absolutely should not buy the store-bought stuff and just make it yourself. I think pulled pork is one of them. It's that easy. Anyway, the point being, once you have made yourself some pulled pork, all you got to do is take out your cast iron pan and fry it up. And there you go. You've got yourself some carnitas. Tacos, 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 and burritos, as Jose Latias says. And it's really that easy. So, I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And besides, even me with the mess that I've made with all that splattering grease. But nonetheless, it's really that easy. And with that, well, again, I'd say we have had ourselves a nice evening here on Cinco de Mayo. I'm hoping I've been able to provide a little bit of entertainment, at least, for you folks who unfortunately don't have satellite TV right now because of the thunderstorms. So I'm sorry about that. Surprise, lights are on, says Pawpaw Dan. Well, enjoy it while you can. Tortillas are one of mankind's greatest inventions. Yeah, I can agree with that. The cavemen who invented fire, invented the wheel. What come next? We make tortilla. Oh, yay, tortilla sound great. How you do that? You wrap it in bread. What bread? We haven't invented bread yet. Okay, so they invent bread and then they invent tortillas. Anyway, what's up? Oh, Trouble got out again, I bet. All right, well, we'll have to go and get him back. But yes, I mean, oh yeah, he always does. Trouble is up to his old antics there. So, but well, as I said, at least we had a chance here to play around with the BSR fish fryer and a little bit more with that poiki as well. I did a little bit with that griddle or that kamal, although I know there are others who can do a lot better with a kamal. So, Cinco de Mayo live stream. Well, thank you. Yeah, I am thinking of seeing if there's some way I can do a live stream at Brimfield. I'm not sure how. Maybe I'll try hitting up one of the cast iron vendors and ask if he'd be interested in doing a live video, maybe during his off hours, because he doesn't want to be talking on a live while customers are coming in. I don't know, maybe next Friday evening, perhaps. Well, we'll work it out. And away we go, as Rick Stumbow says. Good evening. Sorry. Well, hello, grumpy old gringo. Not to worry. You can always watch the playback. So, and having said that, I think we are, I think even though we're at an hour and 20, which is about the amount of time that we usually do go through this. So, and thank you. And good night, Pawpaw Dan, as well. So, my wife that missing the TV. Yeah, well, thank you very much. I do my best to be entertaining, and I think I got a little blister on my finger from that hot pan, but that's life. Those are battle scars. All right, thank you once again, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to drop by. And well, unless I'm delayed again, but I'm hoping I'm not, we will be back at this next Wednesday. So once again, yeah, good night, war in Ukraine. See you all next Wednesday. Have a good evening.